And I could see you trying to move it in that direction, deliver value in the time that you had. So you were asking what hasn't worked. So that jump started, like, what to try and pinpoint what the problems were. Did you ask did you ask what's happening from the client's perspective? What else have you tried? So great questions. There was a lot of backwards and forwards to pick up on some threads. What could you do more what could you do to get more on the political background? And so, yeah, you were trying to, I think, determine how many people were in his space that had an alignment to that thinking and where the dissonance was, where there was a difference in that. And then trying to also, is there something going on that you're not aware of? I think that was a nice question to ask because it just lifts our horizons a little bit. Sometimes we can be really focused on this problem and we forget that maybe there's some influencing factors outside. So that was a nice question. And you did, is it worth asking or is it too personal? Because it really did feel like there wasn't the level of trust or connection that would make this conversation easier. Then you had a thought, you paused and you went, no, I'm not going to ask that. And you took a new direction. What was going on there? Good. Well, thanks for that clarification. I did wonder what was going on there. Yeah. And yeah, so it's that balancing act in a conversation. Absolutely fine to do that as well, right? I like that. And I often do that. It's like, okay, there's a few things here I want to ask. I'm just going to take a moment to think about what's the best thing for me to say at this point. Absolutely fine, do that. I like you switched tack in this which was to try and get Daniel to envision the outcome that he wanted. Where did he want to get to with that? Which was a nice way of kind of reverse engineering that, especially where we were given in this coaching conversation practice. And you asked questions like, what's stopping you from reconnecting? Again, just that there was a difficulty there. And we probably could have spent a lot more time for Daniel to explore that. What could your next step be to reestablish connection? Nice step. It was very action oriented. And then you mentioned about the language, which has already been mentioned, the hesitancy. So yeah, you're very good at picking up the feeling, the language, words, and so on, what might be going on, how people are expressing things, which is really useful to create that awareness for people. And then you bottom lined, it really does feel like reestablishing is a priority. And I think if we knew exactly what he wanted to walk away with, there might have been way more takeaways for Daniel in terms of affirming his confidence or the decision or his thinking about the approach that he wants to take to go and have the conversation, and possibly even get into, okay, how might you start that, or how might you prep the client for that conversation so that they're more open to the actual conversation itself. And I think that's where the discussion about how could you prepare personally was really useful. So if we'd had more time, I suspect that might have been useful for Daniel.